Now, in this video, we'll see a GST treatment on the canteen facility provided by the employer to the employee. This is a very common transaction across industry. So we'll see the GST treatment on the same. There are basically two questions. One, at the output side, that whether an employer is liable to pay the GST on the canteen facility provided to the employee, whether this is a supply. This is the first question. Second question, that the canteen facility, that the canteen, generally employer, what they are doing, they are giving the contract to the canteen service provider. The canteen service provider levy GST on the invoice. So whether the ITC credit is available to the employer. Let's see. Let's see the first answer to the first question, and for this purpose we need to refer Schedule 3 of the CGST Act and Schedule 1 of the CGST Act. Let's see. Schedule 3 of the CGST Act. What it says, that certain activities are not to be treated neither supply of goods nor supply of services. So they don't come within the purview of supply at all. What are in that, what is mentioned, that any service, that the service provided by the employee to the employer in the course of employment is not a supply. Okay, so what you will immediately say, that the canteen facility provided by the employer to the employee, it is not a service provided. What is this entry? The service provided by employee to the employer, and the canteen facility is provided by the employer to the employee, so it is not covered. This is not the case. See, there is a press release dated 10th June 2017. What it mentioned, that any facility provided by the employer to the employee is covered by Schedule 3. What it means is, see, try to understand. There are two ways to pay the consideration to the employee. One, monetary, basically salary. Second, non-monetary. So all these facilities in income tax, what it's called as perquisites, is a non-monetary consideration paid by the employer to the employee in return of their employment service. Correct? Correct. Therefore, the canteen facility, CAP facility, which is a part of CTC, is neither a supply of goods nor supply of services covered by Schedule 3. Therefore, employer is not liable to pay any GST on the output side, as this is not a supply. Okay, now let's see Schedule 1. In Schedule 1, what they mention, that certain transaction or certain activities is to be considered, deemed to be considered as a supply even if without consideration. Employer and employee are related persons. Now, there is a proviso which provides that any gift given by the employer to the employee up to rupees 50,000 during the financial year per employee will not be treated as a deemed supply of goods or deemed supply of services, even if that is without consideration. Let's take an example, that a company has decided to give dinner set to employees during Diwali as a gift, Diwali gift. Up to the cost of the dinner set is rupees 10,000. So the employer is not liable to pay the GST because of this proviso at the output side. So this is not a supply. Okay. Okay. When the company purchased that dinner sets, on that there is a GST levied. The credit is not available to the employer under section 17(5)(h) because it is purchased for the purpose of giving gift. Okay. Okay. Now coming to the canteen facility, the input side of the employer, that is, the contract is given to the canteen service provider, he levies the GST. On that, whether the ITC credit is available to the employer. See, there is a section 17(5)(g). What it provides that the GST credit is blocked for goods or services which are used for personal consumption. There is another provision, section 17(5)(b), that of food and beverages and other things, the credit is not available unless it is used for further taxable supply. What is the meaning of further taxable supply? Suppose there is a trader who purchases a canned juice and supply it as it is. So it is not consumed. GST is basically what? Is a consumption tax. The incidence of the tax is to be borne by the ultimate consumer. So if the trader is purchasing a juice and supplying it, the credit is available to that trader. Coming back to our transaction of canteen service provision, the ITC credit is not available because this food is consumed. The VAT chain of this transaction comes to an end when the employee consumes those foods. Therefore, the ITC credit is not available to the employer on the canteen facility given to the employees. Have you understood this? Okay.